Welcome to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
Today's show is packed with listener questions. First up is Liv and Betsy. They texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked for plant suggestions for a new gardener.
Next up, Pat from Willow Grove has a yellow jacket problem.
In our third segment, Jim from Medford, New Jersey called the hotline and has spotted lanternfly infesting his grapevines.
We received a call to the Bloomers in the Garden hotline, and we have a tricky problem with cucumbers. We'll explain in our fourth segment.
Finally, in this week's What's Bugging You segment, shot hole disease. Many times misdiagnosed as an insect, this disease affects cherries, cherry laurel, and other plants. We'll tell you all about it in our final segment.
So get out your pens and paper to take notes, and we'll be back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Natural Guard by Fertilome Grass and Weed Killer is a fast-acting herbicidal soap that is OMRI listed for organic use. This ready-to-use and concentrate product kills nearly all unwanted grasses and weeds. Use on mulch areas, around planters and raised beds, driveways, patios, foundations, and fences. Natural Guard Grass and Weed Killer can also be used to prepare an area to plant vegetables or other plants in as little as 5 days. This organic and OMRI product works best when weeds are young and temperatures are warm. Natural Guard Grass and Weed Killer not only kills weeds organically, but also works great on algae and moss, too. So the next time you're visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Grass and Weed Killer in either a concentrate or ready-to-use, and expect to have the best-looking garden and landscape in the neighborhood.
Smeltzer & Son Feed Supply, Route 9, Cape May, New Jersey. Mastardi Nursery, Chester Pike, Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. Bloomers Home and Garden Center, Herefel Cross Keys Road, Washington Township, New Jersey. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Liv and Betsy texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and asked about giving a plant as a gift. Here's what their text said.
Hi, Bloomers. What do you guys think is the best perennial to give a first-time homeowner that wants to start a garden as a gift? Thanks. This is from Liv and Betsy in Philly, by the way. Yeah.
Well, Julio, first perennial, easy perennial comes to mind is what?
Black-eyed Susan.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll take
easy.
that back.
You're going to take it back?
Yeah, I'm going to take it back.
Yeah, because that's in our notes, everybody.
Yeah,
if you're wondering.
My first one is Echinacea.
Echinacea.
Yep.
So coneflower.
You're right. And I'll tell you which one I really love on that.
Which one?
It's the sombrero, and it's called Adobe Orange.
It is beautiful because it's everybody thinks coneflower, purple coneflower, and then it's shades of purple, and there's a white. But that's true. It's it's a great fall color.
It is.
But it's very nice.
Pretty stunning, yeah.
Very nice. I would go first. Let's see, I have two.
You have two?
Itopini.
Oh, boy.
And the problem is they look pretty ratty right now. But they grow real easy. They are a stunning thing in the garden in spring and early summer. There's nothing that looks like them, and that they get pretty big and that they're carefree. But if they were giving it as a gift today, I could just imagine. It's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah,
this is nice.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
But the reality is that in the spring, it just is a showstopper.
Yeah, it is.
Showstopper.
I have that in my home.
Yeah, I love Utopians. I have several of them. And for those of you that know this or don't know the story, Dr. Ito was a Japanese hybridizer, and he was trying to cross a garden peonies with a tree peonies. And he tried and he tried and he tried. They said it was over 50,000 times that he tried to make this cross. And eventually got it to take.
Right.
And he's growing the plants, and he died.
Oh, boy.
He never saw them flower. It's a sad story, but his work is our benefit because they are amazing, because the colors are in like mauves and yellows and not the traditional reds that you see. And they have an open throat where they actually have a different color inside, like you would consider a throat of a peony, I guess. But stunning combination. Anyway, so that's Ito peonies.
Another great thing about the Ito peony is that it lasts quite a lot of years, doesn't it?
Oh, shoot. It's, tremendous. Tremendous.
So it's going to be lasting probably longer than me.
But again, Liv and Betsy, this is probably not going to look the best right now because it's starting to show its fall dormancy, and it's spent the winter or the summer trying to get through, and it's just going to go dormant. So it's not going to look like much until next spring, and then they're going to get it. It's like, holy smokes.
Then that'll be the best perennial at that time.
It will, because it's got a whole another year on it. Yeah. Right. All right, give me another one that looks good now.
Looks good now. Wow. Lavender is not it's looking pretty good.
Lavender's looking beautiful.
Yeah, looking pretty good. I have my home again.
Yeah, and can be tricky if you overwater it. Lavender likes to be a little bit on the dry side. Don't go crazy with watering. Yeah. I would choose Hearty Hibiscus.
Wow.
Dinner plate size, flowers, round, large. If anybody can see us on YouTube or wherever Mitch is going to post this, that they're almost 8 to 12 inches across. Great colors. The new varieties that are out there have now swirls of color. Tremendous. Yep. Tremendous.
That's beautiful. Yep.
Have another suggestion, Holt?
Yeah, I love the Russian sage. I have that again in my home.
I'm feeling pattern.
A pattern there. Yeah, I got sandy soil.
Easy to take care of, right?
Easy, yeah. Really
how
easy.
about yelling? Is the foliage yellow at all on you?
No, I have no problem with yellow. No.
No problem?
No problem.
And what about supplemental watering? Do you do any?
No, none at all.
Do you take care of anything? Do you have
I tell you what, it's a great plant.
It is.
It's beautiful.
What do the flowers look like?
Mine are still like a lavender bluish.
Okay, and they're kind of spiky.
Spiky, yeah, kind of ferny.
They can be. They are a great. And I've said this on air, where I always like the gray foliage with the blue flower against a pink plant. So you have that soft pink with that blue and gray, and it's a stunning thing. Usually, if you do it with a rose, like even if you did like a knockout pink rose, with the Russian sage in front.
Oh, yeah,
pretty
now
sharp,
you're talking.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a designer in me.
Yeah. There you go.
Veronica. I love Veronica. There's Purplicious, which is my favorite. There's another one, and the reason why I like that variety is because it's a purple color, very unique. The foliage is clean, very few insects, disease issues, and Veronica is a great plant. Usually it's blue. You see it most of the time blue, but I really like the purple one. It's a different shade of purple, and you can almost get that like phlox purple out of it, and without the disease problems.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
There is a pink one too, isn't there?
there is, I think,
I think there is.
Love. I think that's the
that's
variety.
It, yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Any other soul?
Yeah, salvia. I mean, you can't go wrong with
wow.
salvia.
Salvia's a weed.
Yeah.
It grows without issue.
Yeah.
And most of the
keeps growing.
perennials that we're talking about, especially the last few, like Russian sage, salvia, even Veronica, that if it starts getting leggy in the middle of the season, cut it in half.
Yeah.
It'll flush right out,
That's
rebloom. It'll look fantastic. And most perennials are like Choreopsis. That's another one on the list here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Choreopsis, and it's a modified weed.
Modified weed.
Black-eyed Susan, like we mentioned at the top, another one that can be cut back, used as a cut flower. It's some of the things, like I guess if we had to nail down, if you're giving it as a gift and you're giving it to somebody that they want, and we do talk about this on the air often. It's like, I want them to remember me because I gave them that plant.
Right.
Salvia probably wouldn't be my first choice.
No.
But, or Black-eyed Susan, because the Black-eyed Susan, every, berm has it planted in it. It's kind of common.
It is.
But going with the Hearty Hibiscus, right?
Yep.
Russian sage would still work in that. Lavender, I think, would work with that. Itopini certainly would work with that.
Yeah, I
but
think so,
again, it comes with that caveat where the foliage is going to be kind of browning on the tips, and it may not look like a great presentation when you give it. But boy,
put a bow on it.
Next spring, there you go. There you go. It'll sleeve it real good and hide the foliage.
That's right.
But you want to pick something that's going to be special, that has some unique to it, or a backstory.
Right.
Or a backstory.
Oh, yeah.
Hearty Hibiscus is looking dynamite.
Yeah, that's right up there.
Dynamite.
Right up there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right up there with the Ito, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
My daughter, here we go. We talk about, I think, Steve and my daughter Melissa at every show, that at their apartment, and they're in Northern Liberties in Philly, he sent me a picture of people stopping by, looking at their little front garden, and they live like in I guess it's a townhouse kind of thing, and it's a row house, and that where people would stop, take pictures, and look at their garden because, again, it had Hearty Hibiscus in it.
Oh.
And that they would he sent me the picture of these. It was like 2 or 3 different pictures, and that they were all like looking at the plants, and they were having a discussion on the plants that were in their garden. And Hearty Hibiscus is simple. It's not like it needs much care. It's also like it's kind of weedy. It grows really big, and it has these great flowers, and it's just impressive to see. So
our vote is for?
Because of the time of the year, Hearty Hibiscus.
Yeah, I think so.
Ito is a close second, just because of how the great story it has, but it's also pricey.
Yep, it is.
You're going to spend $100 on it.
Yeah.
You got, what would you say is third?
I'd say coneflower. Right now, they're still flowering.
Coneflower?
Yeah, they're still looking good.
And pick it by variety. Just don't get a purple one. Get a variety that has a name like that one that you were saying, that sombrero orange.
Sombrero orange, yeah.
It's
Adobe
an intense
orange.
color, very unique.
And it's long flowering. And not only that, you get the seeds, heads at the end for the birds.
Right. And if I can add one more thing, make sure that you bring a bag of bumper crop, so that they plant it correctly, or better yet, you plant it for them.
Oh, I like that.
It's because nobody wants to be given a plant. It's like, oh, I have more work to do. But if you plant it for them and you plant it correctly, then that will mean something.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give you a kiss.
Oh, Julio. Well, I did give a perennial. To someone.
Okay.
That was a daylily. Besame mucho.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
For all those Spanish-speaking people.
All right, enough. All right, so
there you go.
If you've got any questions, please call the hotline. That's 609-685-1880, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Going to break. We'll be right back after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You know, some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is available at these local retailers.
Forcelati Brothers, Rivervale, New Jersey. Calgo Gardens, Freehold, New Jersey. Tony's Farm and Garden, Windsor, New Jersey.
Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, Pat from Willow Grove texted the Bloomers in the Garden hotline and stirred up a bee's nest.
I've done that a few times.
Yep, I know you have. Here's the exact text.
I accidentally hit a yellow jacket nest when plunging a shovel into some hosta I wanted to move. I got stung, of course. The shovel is still in there, and so are the bees. How do I get rid of the hive nest safely? Thank you, Pat, Willow Grove, PA.
Wow.
Yeah, been there, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
We all have.
Yeah.
We talked about this summer how Jenny was in the hospital, our bookkeeper, for 3-4 days.
Sure.
Had issues.
Mm-hmm. I got stung 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Carl got stung on the eye.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, the eyelid. Yeah.
Oh,
Luckily,
man.
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But here's what has to be done. First of all, everything gets done at night, because that's when all of the yellow jackets are into their hive and that they're not going to be going out. You won't have them almost like going back and forth, where there's new ones trying to get in the hive as you're trying to work and others are coming out after you.
Yeah, you don't want that.
And you want to avoid as much as you can from spraying the foliage of the hosta, but you do need to get a wasp and hornet spray. Bonide has one, and it's a triple action formula, and the key is that it makes them pass out, before they get a chance to chase after you.
Oh, good.
So,
That's great.
And that you've got to try to find where that hole is, and that there's an entrance and exit hole that, you probably plunged that shovel right in it, and that they all of a sudden say, hey. who's bothering our house?
Yeah, right.
So as long as you can find that and you can spray it right in there, and again, if you're doing it at dusk, you don't have to do it at midnight, but if you're doing it at the end of the day when the light is beginning to fade and it's going from, say, I would say at twilight, most of them are in there, so you can still see. You can still run if you have to, but you've got to go and spray, and you're going to try to pull that. You're going to spray first, then the next day you're going to try to pop that host out. Now, they will be a little doped up, and there may be still some living, but more than likely they're going to just be on their way out. They're kind of walking around. They're generally not going to fly after you, but keep that hornet and wasp spray in hand just in case they do.
Yeah.
But again, you got to do it at night so you control the entire hive, not just part of it. And that goes for all, like hornets and like that's it. Becky's husband at Bloomers, where he was trying to burn the paper wasp nest.
Oh, brother.
Not a good idea.
No.
Not a good idea. He
Pat.
had one in a tree, and he's trying to burn it. So anyway, makes for a good story.
It does.
But and he wondered why they were chasing after him.
I know.
Anyway, so you want to use the hornet wasp. There's also a ground bee and spider killer. That's also from Bonide. It works. It's almost a puffer where it's a powder, and that you can get it right into the hive itself. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I want target practice with that sprayer because the hornet and wasp that will spray like 15 feet.
Oh boy.
It's got that powerful knockdown agent. And you feel like you're doing something where you're going with this little puffer thing. And it's maybe if you had carpenter bees in little spots or things like that. But
not these guys. Huh?
Yellow jackets? No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I want you dead.
That's right.
I want them dead. I don't want them to sting anyone or anything.
I get hit 3 times.
Yeah?
Man, he went up right up my pant leg.
Oh, gee.
I didn't know what I ran inside the house so fast.
I don't blame you.
I almost took my pants off outside, but I said, nah, my neighbors will probably think I'm crazy.
I don't know. In the day with everybody has a camera.
I know.
It was a good story. Bloomers in the Garden host running around outside.
That's right.
Anyway, so again, listen, it's something you've got to do at night. That is the key.
Yeah.
And yellow jackets are just mean.
Oh yeah, they are.
Just are
I'll
mean.
tell you what? We know that.
I don't know. All right, Pat. We hope that we've been some help. Again, be slow. You're going to pop the thing out of the ground the day after you spray. Be cautious. You probably can retrieve your shovel at any time. They're not interested in your shovel. But just be safe. Just be safe. Again, God forbid you're allergic, but just got to be careful. All right, that's it. We've got another break coming up. We'll be right back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. and we'll see you in the garden.
Natural Guard by Fertilome Grass and Weed Killer is a fast-acting herbicidal soap that is OMRI listed for organic use. This ready-to-use and concentrate product kills nearly all unwanted grasses and weeds. Use on mulch areas, around planters and raised beds, driveways, patios, foundations, and fences. Natural Guard Grass and Weed Killer can also be used to prepare an area to plant vegetables or other plants in as little as 5 days. This organic and OMRI product works best when weeds are young and temperatures are warm. Natural Guard Grass and Weed Killer not only kills weeds organically, but also works great on algae and moss, too. So the next time you're visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Grass and Weed Killer in either a concentrate or ready-to-use, and expect to have the best-looking garden and landscape in the neighborhood.
Church's Garden Center and Farms, Seashore Road, Cape May, New Jersey. Collegeville Do It Best, Ridge Pike, Collegeville, Pennsylvania. County Line Nursery, Harleysville Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel-Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider, or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Hey, we got a call on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline from Jim, and he is from New Jersey, and he has grapevines that are infested with the spotted lanternfly. Here, listen to what he had to say.
Hi, my name's Jim. I'm from Medford, New Jersey, which is like south central Jersey. I have a question regarding lanternflies and grapes. We have about a 40-foot length of grapevine,
Wow.
and it's obviously attracted a lot of lanternflies on our property this year. And I was wondering, we really don't get a lot of crop out of it. Some years it produces better, some years I prune, some years are not. But it's at the point now where I was questioning, would it be more beneficial to get rid of the grapevine in hopes that I'd have less lanternflies on the property? We have around 7 acres. The lanternflies are really focused on the grapevines. I see them once in a while on some of our walnut trees, but really nowhere else, just on these grapevines. And we have some wild grapes as well, which they're on that. Would it be better to get rid of that grapevine in hopes that there would be less on the property, or is it better to attract them? And I do kill them. I kill around, I would say, 30, 40 a day on there. I just actually shoot them with cooking oil, believe it or not, and they can't fly, and I get them that way. But that's my question. Sort of like the Japanese beetle trap. Is it better to have Japanese beetle traps and attract beetles and get them in a trap, or are you just bringing more Japanese beetle onto your property by inviting them there? Thank you, and have a good day.
Wow. That's a long row of grapes.
A lot, yeah.
Now, the question is, do you enjoy growing the grapes or do you not, right?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, and as far as Japanese beetle traps, my view is always give them as a gift to your neighbor.
Yeah,
here you go.
Right.
Look what I got you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I have no problems. I seem to be all at your house.
Right.
So in a way, grapes were the first crop that was identified to be a problem with spotted lanternfly, and that there is online, you can go and get it. If you just look up just do a search, spotted lanternfly management in vineyards. There'll be a Penn State, basically paper that goes through and tells you how to manage the spotted lanternfly. It is more, I don't know, wouldn't you say it's more for the commercial grower?
I think so,
Than it is for the homeowner, but you can still take a lot of things, and we're gonna go through it with you right now. First of all, yes, they are going to be attracted to the grapes. That the way that the spotted lanternfly will feed, that it just is easy for them to be able to feed off the grapes, similar to some of their native habitat that they're used to, like the tree of heaven. So they will be a larger quantity. Again, do you want grapes? You said you don't get much of a yield, but that has to do with pruning techniques more than it has to do with the fact that you have spotted lanternfly. You have, how many grapes can you eat?
Yeah.
Or I guess if you're making wine, you just need more bottles. But again, if you start a spray program early that you can control each instar stage a little bit, where because they're attracted, you are probably have egg masses being laid on the fence posts, on their support, on the vines themselves, everywhere.
Yeah.
So you've got to be pretty meticulous with your scraping off I guess you're going to start that anytime you see them, but it's going to be into December when you're still scraping off the egg masses. Now, spraying them, I still like spinosad, which is organic, but you can also use a synthetic pyrethrin. Now, Julio and I often say, it's like you want to look with something with the name Thrin on the end of it. Okay, Thrin. So Thrin. So that is it's a man-made chemical copied from a natural insecticide that was made from chrysanthemum flowers. And what happens is that the organic version just breaks down in sunlight almost immediately. So if you don't hit the insect, it's gone. And that where the man-made version or the synthetic version will have staying power and lasting power. Yeah. Now, you said you used cooking oil.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it because it's not listed, but using an all seasons oil is a great idea, horticultural oil.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The way that works is that it coats the insect and it will kill it that way. It doesn't necessarily poison it. So you absolutely can use that. And one thing, and part of our research is that as far as using an oil, that there is some effect that you can be killing the egg masses without having to scrape them. Now, I can't justify saying that that's how you want to get rid of them, but I am going to tell you that it's better than doing nothing. So spraying the egg masses with the horticultural oil, that it showed that it had a rating of good as opposed to excellent, where it would control that. There's also some oldies but goodies like 7 will control the nymphs and adults. But again, I'd go with the synthetic pyrethrin. I did read somewhere where if you overuse synthetic pyrethroids, that it will cause a leaf curl in the grapes. But again, if you mix it up and you're using synthetic pyrethrin and then alternating with spinosad, which is Captain Jack's by Bonite, but also I know that it's available from Fertilome will have a spinosad, that if you mix it up, then that way you're getting a good broad spectrum. So, and even better yet, because there are 7 stages to the spotted lanternfly before they're adults, that if you're using 7, you're using spinosad, and you're using a synthetic pyrethroid. Now you're getting good coverage. You're getting each stage, and that at the end of the season, you're spraying with an oil spray, and you're hitting the egg masses, and you're scraping all those egg masses, right? You're looking on the fence posts. You're looking in the vines. You're looking inside where somehow how the branches and the trunks of grapes will twist. You're looking at all those areas to get control. And then you can get decent control. And also, in the area of New Jersey where you are, it is probably at mass penetration right now. Last week or the week before, we reported about how in Philadelphia it seems like that there is less spotted lanternfly. Now, I'm hoping that is something that we get in New Jersey, that it comes in a wave like locusts, but then they dissipate as natural predators will feed off of them and reduce their population. Hopefully. And as far as also just plain as humans, that we know what to do with them. Because there was one time we just didn't, what the heck are these things?
Yeah.
So, and now I think word is getting out.
Yeah.
Questions, Julio?
Boy, I tell you what, that's a great 1, 2, 3 punch right there that you just said.
Yeah.
I think that'll work for him.
And then if you do rip out your grapevines,
I hope not.
I hope you don't, but because that's a big row, but it's a lot of work to take care of. Yeah. You're still going to have issues with other plants, and especially the wild ones, because you're probably not going to be doing any maintenance in there, more than likely. Yeah. Speaking for myself, but you're gonna have to spray with something. So if you're concentrating on your grapes, you still have the opportunity that you're going to protect them.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Anything to add?
No, I think he's got some work to do, but I think it's good work.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like to see him keep it.
Yeah, it's satisfying, but it's controlling those egg masses is the key to next year. Yeah. There have been people that try to tarp. That's not working. Yeah. I'm sorry, but they're getting underneath, and they're going to get in there. Because it's like like he said, he had a good analogy with the Japanese beetle trap. It's bait,
Bait, yeah.
But at least he's baiting them to where he can start a spray program like every other week.
That's the thing.
All right.
Yeah.
That's it. We've got another break. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, we got a call on the Bloomers in the Garden hotline about problems with cucumber beetles. Listen to what he had to say.
Hi, good morning, Len. In reference to the cucumber plant, when you get all the spots and the leaves are shriveling up, is that like a cucumber beetle? I thought I heard you mention once program. There's something that eats the leaf and just dries it up, and you were supposed to powder it. If you could expound upon that, maybe on Sunday's show under the program, sign off and you give all these little tips, that'd be appreciated. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much. It's one of our listeners up in the New York metropolitan area, where we can be heard on Sunday mornings. All right, so Julio, here's why in the beginning of the show we said that the cucumber issue is tricky, because it's cucumber beetle. But cucumber beetle carries a disease with it that will collapse the vines and will cause problems that are more than just the insect causes on their own.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say which he's having problems with. The powder, I think that he's mentioning is that we did talk about putting in a powder insecticide and disease control.
Right.
But the disease control is not going to work once that cucumber beetle feeds and spreads the disease to the plant. There is no real spray for it. So, again, that's good news, bad news. The other part of this is that the cucumber beetle itself, again, so many of the insects that we have are attractive, where these are like shiny-backed little, I guess, elongated bodies, could be spotted or could be striped. Usually they're like a neon kind of yellow look. They're actually pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
They're not one of those insects that scare you.
No.
So, in any case, that they have to be killed when they arrive so they don't do the damage by spreading the disease, but also what they'll do is they'll lay eggs, and the eggs will penetrate the stem, and the stem of either the leaves or the vines themselves can collapse. Yeah. So it looks very similar, whether it's disease, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is it what came first to kill your cucumbers? Was it the disease, or was it the egg that was laid in the leaf stem or the stem itself of, from the cucumber beetle? All right. Wow.
Whew.
I got that out.
Yeah, you did.
I got that out.
Thank God you did.
Yeah, I did.
You almost ran out of breath.
So what to do?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Thank you.
They should have been sprayed in June.
That's right.
And that some people try to take a razor blade and open up and try to, find the larva in the stem. But to be honest with you, we're in September. I would make sure that you're cleaning up first, that you're cleaning up the leaves and anything that's fallen. You're not just turning over your cucumber vines in the soil, because you may be leaving that disease in the soil, and that's not a good thing. Not a good thing. The other thing is you've got to start spraying. And you can spray organic. Like, again, here we go back to spinosad again. Yep. It's a fairly new insecticide that is organic and has a broad label where it controls most insects every other week. Just have a batch of it ready to go and just go ahead, shake that sprayer and go out and spray and leave it in your sprayer and go out and spray the next week. Because you want to control, there's a number of insects that are going to be doing damage in your garden. And it doesn't matter if it's Japanese beetles or potato beetles or cucumber beetles or any of the other gazillion plants that want to eat your vegetables before you get a chance to bring them into a refrigerator. So I would consider next year just know that you're going to have to spray. And again, I go back to getting those early infestations, and spinosid's my first choice.
Number one.
Again, we're back to like 8 is that pyrethroid. There's lots of choices. I do not like neem oil. Okay,
No.
I'm sorry.
I had somebody come in and say they didn't work.
I know it does. It works if you it works if you hit the insect, but when you have one insect, you can count on that they probably have mated and laid eggs on your plants, that you're going to have to spray them again. And before they have a chance to mate, I mean, we were talking a couple of weeks ago where there were 20 generations. I think it was when we were talking about fruit flies, actually.
Yeah, it's fruit flies.
But it was like 20 generations in a season.
Oof.
It's like you need to be on top of it, or there needs to be a residual. And that's the one thing about when you're spraying any of your plants. You want something there. And you make sure that you just wash your fruits and vegetables, because I don't care if it's an organic or it's not. You're still going to have issues because it's going to be there to kill insects.
Yeah, it's toxic.
And if it doesn't kill the insect, you're not gonna use it. Yeah. So an insecticide, organic or not, is still meant to kill insects. So you got to wash your fruits and vegetables. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Good job.
I guess, but unfortunately, I don't have much hope for the cucumbers that he's got in his garden.
Yeah,
clean them up. Make sure you do not till in those leaves.
Yeah.
Get them out of the garden. Put them in a compost pile.
Yeah.
And then put them. I maybe wouldn't even put them in a compost. Put them in a refuse pile.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Get it off your property.
Yeah.
Because again, when we talk about roses in a few weeks, we'll be talking about that same thing.
Same thing again. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Organic Potting Soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend Organic Potting Soil is available at these local retailers.
Haynes Garden Center, Cinnaminson, New Jersey. Burlington Agway, Burlington, New Jersey. Sickles Market, Little River, New Jersey.
Wanting to up your game in the vegetable garden? With 90 years of organic gardening experience, the Espoma Company has you covered. Espoma Organic Garden Tone is not your average garden variety fertilizer. Garden Tone is especially blended for organic vegetable gardens. Its all-natural formula contains Biotone, a blend of organic ingredients that supplies essential nutrients for strong, healthy plants and mouth-watering vegetables. Its slow-release formula provides continuous feeding. The Biotone contained in Garden Tone is a combination of organic ingredients and beneficial microbes to help roots grow deeper and faster for bigger, more bountiful harvest. Garden Tone is simple to use and safe for people, pets, and the planet. No harmful chemicals or synthetic fertilizers are ever added. You can find Garden Tone at fine garden centers. Visit espoma.com to find a retailer near you. Garden Tone from Espoma. A natural in the garden since 1929. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. So today, during our segment of What's Bugging You, we're going to talk about shot hole disease.
Shot hole.
You know, this is relatively new to me.
Yeah.
I've only seen it, and it's mostly on cherry laurel. Like you see, it's like Otto Lucan's laurel and some of the taller cherry laurel that you get. And it's on the bottom leaves mostly. But it turns out that it also affects other cherries, like even cherries, like edible cherries and cherries like a Kwanzaa cherry. So it's and like English laurel is in the same, it's prunus. So English laurel is a type, people call it cherry laurel. Yeah. Anyway, nectarines too.
Nectarines, wow.
Nectarine plums. Mm-hmm. So again, anything in that family, that prunus family, is a host.
Wow.
So what it looks like is literally like there's a bunch of holes about the size of a BB in the leaves of the plant. And what happens is it starts off being like a brown spot. And it looks like just a bacterial leaf spot, but it drops out. And it creates that like perfectly round BB shot hole.
That's pretty cool.
And I've recently talked with a couple of nurseries and saying, hey, how are you guys dealing with this? Because we've gotten some plants delivered in that they were container grown plants and they all had it. And talking with, a nurseryman that I respect, he said, what's funny is that container plants are more subject to this than plants that are grown B&B.
Oh,
so that leads me to think two things. One, that once you have it in the ground, it kind of dissipates. That you may have it on the bottom, but it's not going to be as bad.
Right.
The other thing is that you can spray for it. Some of the things you'll see it more when it's more heavily watered, and that goes back to the container issue.
Right.
Those container plants are getting a whole lot more water.
Yeah.
So that's why they'll have it.
Right.
You can prune off the diseased branches down below to get rid of some of that tissue, and a lot of times in most of the cherry laurels, and that's where I've seen it more. I mean the cherries, it's not gonna.
Yeah, I haven't seen them there.
Even if you do have it, it generally is more of an ornamental thing where it makes it just look funny, but it doesn't kill the tree.
Yeah.
But on the cherry laurel and like, again, Otto Lucan's laurel or English laurel, that they do look bad because it looks like there's an insect and it's not. It's not. So here's what you need to do. Make sure you're cleaning up all the leaves from the previous spring or previous summer, previous fall. Don't have them laying there going into the next year. 2, air out some of those bottom branches so that they don't hold moisture, so that they're going to dry out in the wind. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 3, you can spray. Mancozeb is and it's spelled Mancozeb. That is a zinc type of disease control, and that will control it. You're going to have to do several. Sprays. Okay, you're not going to just do one and done, but you're going to want to do, I'd say at least do 2 to 3 sprays about 7 to 10 days apart, because you want to make sure that you're getting it in there. Infuse is an insecticide from bonide that is said to also work similar, but everywhere that I've seen it listed on commercial sites, it's that mancozeb. That's what they recommend. Again, that's MANCOZEB, mancozeb. And a copper fungicide may work, but again, let's just stick with those first two. And again, you need to spray, you need to be diligent, but again, it's easy control, but it also generally does not kill your plant.
That's good to know that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Going to break. We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden.
Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB, and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Here we are, Julio.
Oh,
Brett's
boy.
giving us a wrap-up sign. All right, we're running long. Yeah, there you go. All right. Hey, we'll be right here next week in the garden. We'll see you in the garden.
See you in the garden.